What's good, man? It's OG Drip, man. This channel where we talk about the spiritual truth and how to utilize energy on a day-to-day basis, man. And check this out, man. Today, man, we got to talk about some deep stuff because a lot of us probably didn't realize what actually happened when spirituality went to trending. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people was grabbing cameras, grabbing all this type of stuff and getting on the internet. And not because they have views and stuff, that doesn't necessarily mean that they know what they're talking about. But due to them using the words of being relatable now, like studying a lot of different manuscripts and studying a lot of different doctrines, it appears that they have more education or a higher knowledge over someone. But when they get down to this is only studying someone else's mind. So we have to realize that at the end of the day. Because if you even look on the internet right now, some people will realize that, yo, you shouldn't even be teaching from the first place. No matter how much you know, you should have been backing up a teacher, being more like a sub. You know how you got your subconscious and you got your conscious. Your conscious being the one, your subconscious being the two. But in an inverted world, we understand the support of something is to help something get done better. You get what I'm saying? Like, so if the action is falling down, the support behind it. So understanding masculine energy, understanding feminine energy is basically all you needed. But when people start getting down to these complications, these sciences, this scientific method of doing things, even when it get down to seeing people that's actually vegans and stuff, it's more vegans, it's more vegetarians than it have ever been, right? To the fact that they don't even realize that is actually agenda. That is actually going against things because nature is going to happen itself. That's why you have certain animals that eat certain animals that eat certain plants and stuff like that, because the world goes on. So they probably produce certain stuff throughout their manure that give us back through the life to help us bring up resources and stuff like that. So when it get down to things like understanding that, not only you don't have to need a book necessarily, you could just sit back and watch. If you put something wild in the jungle, you will see it. You don't have to tell it what to do. So what people have failed to realize is by these people coaching and science sounding so smart, even though it's just another way of being scientifically lost, of saying science going against God, a man going against God. A lot of people don't realize that, where something was already naturally happening and now someone come in to switch it over. So even into the fact of people that don't supposed to be teaching certain things and the way that they teach it, right? So when we got people that's like right now, the main thing right now, if you look, anybody that mainly, not anybody, but most people that I seen on the algorithm myself that has more than 20,000 views within a day or so on anything that they post, normally is Western astrologers. And let me tell you something about it. It's deep because a lot of people don't realize, like, it might sound like some hating shit unless you actually spiritual yourself, that you see that Western shit don't mean nothing. Anybody could pull a card and say, yo, this the energy that's being read. But where is that energy coming from? Why is that energy being derived? So when we getting down to breaking down things, it takes more than just one religion. So you have to kind of use all of that little bit of stuff, right? And some people go so far into that little bit of stuff that they think that it's something hiding from them, but yet they're studying more into the script. So now they have opposing energy against themselves. So it's like, really, they are not actually being spiritual. They're just being different in a sense of saying that they're taking what was gave to them and going against who gave it to them. So basically, it's just like being more worse than the people that taught you. So when it get down to spirituality, it's about spirit. So when we're looking at the realms, we got to understand, when we say the 9 dimensions of the conscious mind, you have the first dimension, you know what I'm saying, represent the 1, independency, masculine energy. Now, this not saying that, oh, whoever made the number 1 was smart enough to know, oh, this is all what it came from. No, but when it come down to helping you represent something, this is why they use the number 1, what came first, or the first thing we seen. So if they wanted to interact with others, this is how they have to break it down, to let you know what came first or what came second, like putting it in the order. But it's not necessarily telling you what exactly what's going on. So a lot of people don't understand when it get down to inverted stuff. So what they see, and when they see spectrums and things like that, they don't understand how to come out of the body, out of the mind, and just looking, right? Just like when you die on a game like Fortnite or Call of Duty or something, and you go into spectating mode. What it is basically a person don't see how these things is drawn out, but rather them seeing how they draw it out from the beginning, of seeing how these people came up with these conclusions, or seeing how these people came up with these things to represent stuff, and coming up with their new forms or however they wanted to come up to the day. They take right out whatever the form was already made, and they follow behind that instead of looking at what the person was pointing to see what they was representing. So that's a lot of times when that's the reason why we say it have to come with a clear mind, and it come with polarity. So even when it comes down to the light, this is action. You know what I'm saying? Light, action, the white side, the light side, however you want to see it. You know what I'm saying? The feminine side, intake, being able to withstand something, being able to hold on to something. That's why women get pregnant, second dimension. So when we going through things like this, now we see how 1 or 2, how they came up with numerology to be like a 3, which make a 3rd. You get what I'm saying? Which is a trine, which is someone coming into something. So it's not a masculine energy nor a feminine energy, but it's more like both combined. And now let's see what it works out. Now, that is how we come into this 3rd dimension. Now, depending on whatever energy you was as a spirit was leaning towards as a biasness, as in saying, hey, this is what I want. This is what you became more of. So a lot of people don't realize, hey, you in this body because you have been recycled coming through the mind. So you already had them came through here. And what your mind kept doing was trying to do the opposite of itself. So you was going against your own gender within yourself. So when it's explaining gay and all this type of stuff in the Bible, it really was talking about Derek, but it still followed behind. So at the end of the day, this is another thing where if you even know that as a teacher and you know that you have a gender problem or you don't like the opposite sex, that maybe this is something where even in the spirit realm or when it comes down to the mental realm, maybe it shows you that you maybe shouldn't even be teaching. So at the end of the day, it's a whole bunch of things where people have getting in these comfortable energies and they just basically want to be a part of something. So when the spirituality came out, it bumped the numerology. They either into that, they either into tarot, they either into astrology, and they just breaking down things to getting deeper into them. So once again, they're getting lost into the things that already been one part of an argument. And that's the thing about it. All of these things is a part of something. So that's why religion, when they do find a little bit of truth, or atheists or Satanists, anything like that, when they find a little bit of the truth or occultists, however you want to look at it, they take that truth and they stretch it. But a lot of times they don't understand where that truth even come from, because spirituality ain't something that you could necessarily study. It ain't something you even had to study. When you was brought into this world, they put this shit on you. They put you in doctrines. You get what I'm saying? So when you came in this world, into gender, when you getting ready to come in, they already knew. So they was like, hey, why should we attack the people that's necessarily grown when we could get them as a kid? So when they become grown, they're not actual adults. They're actual just kids that's just learn how to be almost teenagers, preteens. So we just taught them towards something, but they don't even know where it goes. So they hard-headed. You get what I'm saying? They smelling their own musk. They're going any type of way, so they don't want to hear nothing that they're not comfortable with. So this is what spirituality, this is what happened when spirituality went to trending. Now, I had to name this video something just because it's so much that you have to get out. And it's so much in this world that people might not even pay attention to certain things unless you put certain words into play to catch their attention, to catch their relatability. Because one time, it's more like everybody was on this vibration. Now everybody think they at a higher thoughts, but really them thoughts ain't the highest of thoughts. And I hate saying words like that, but if we're going to break it down to even talking about things being in the front, middle, and the end, this is how we got to break it down. The cardinal, fixed, mutable, or you want to see 1, 2, 3, or however you want to see it. So how these dimensions come with the 9 dimensions being divided by 3 is each dimension has its things. Where the first dimension, yes, it represents independency, and it's a layer cut between it, right? For 1, 2, and 3. But really, all of this is masculine energy. All of this is talking about creation, and that is why God is known as a man in certain scriptures and certain things. But a lot of people wouldn't understand that if you already lost into the scripture, already lost into the manuscript, already lost into the doctrine, or whatever you want to call it. Because at the end of the day, that's all they be wanting to do is call it new different names. So shout out to young Pharaoh, how he used to take words, right, and break them down and show you that it actually is 2 different words that they combine to make something mean something for a person to be comfortable with. So anytime the thing starts switching, only thing they got to do is add things onto words, delete stuff off of words to make it appear better and make it fit people's suitability of the comfortability of saying it's not actual spirituality, it's comfortability. So whatever it is, instead of these astrologers teaching you, hey, how to dive all the way out of the body, how to dive all the way out of these minds. So fuck what your chakra is, fuck what your zodiac is, fuck what your house alignment is, fuck all of that. How you can become more one with your spirit, and you can learn how to use all of these things, how to access all of these things, which is what God wanted us to do from the beginning. So now if you hear accessing all of these things, you're able to teach other people how to access all of these things. So now instead of the blind leading the blind and probably helping people kind of find the area over there, you actually know how to direct it right to them. And then when they start saying, oh, okay, here go the starting point. Oh, okay, here go the fixed point. Oh, okay, now here go the mutable point, or however you want to look at it. Still the 1, 2s, and 3s. When now they can see how the realm is in 9. 3 times 3 equals 9. They can see how that shit is broken down to saying the second dimension is mostly about your feelings. So this is mostly about, I mean, not the second dimension, but the second layers of dimensions, which is the mind, which is talking about, you know, your thoughts, your feelings, and then what you're paying attention to, right? So when we get in these type of things going, we can see how this has something to do with feminine energy in some type of sort. So the era of this would be the 2. This is where it's starting to talk about your subconsciousness. Your consciousness would be the firstness, what brought you into reality. Now, the shit that you're picking up on is your subconsciousness, your thoughts. Why you having these thoughts? Why you having these feelings and emotions? Why is you even paying attention to these type of things? So they're letting you know that it's some type of mobility. So they're letting us know that this is the mind, something that can travel. You can change your mind. So when it get down to the spirit realm, birth, the 7th, 8th, and 9th, we can see that that's even talking about no sex at all. So this is where transcendency coming from. This is where how you can learn how to be transparent, how you can see both sides of something. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, these is the number 1 breakdowns. These is how numerology and shit play out. Anytime a person is going into it and they're digging into other shit, this is just what a person added onto it through their experience. They're not saying this is what it is. So you don't never know what's going on until you know how it started. You can't go over there and just jump into them people argument if you don't know how it started. If you in the hood, you can't stop them beating up that dude. You don't even know what he did. You get what I'm saying? In another country, they might be beating the hell out of somebody because he raped somebody. You don't know where it started from, so you don't even get into it. You get what I'm saying? So that's just like religions. A lot of people don't understand where it started from, and they think that this is what it is. So even when they got up out of it, they're like, yo, we evolved, so we got to be at the point now. No, that's just how far back humanity has been pulled back from actual spirituality. Humanity is going more towards humans, more towards knowledge. So getting trapped inside knowledge, not understanding wisdom, not understanding esoteric playouts, understanding exoteric. So only understanding what the body and the mind do instead of getting trapped into that. So it's all back to the Western Hemisphere, where it's not actually talking about somebody learning about seasons, somebody learning about, okay, this is why it came, this is why it fell, this is why it rise, this is why it stayed mute, this is why it stayed maintained, and things like that. It's further, it's just like the plants, the fish, the everything we see. That's why you have seasonal things where it may be deer season. Now more bucks and more things than ever. Maybe watermelon season. And you have these certain seasons for not only persons, places, and things, but for you, well, for everything that they're looking at. So this is how they keep up with what is growing, what is going on. So they're looking up at the sky and telling you what's going on, but yet y'all learning from someone that's being told what's going on. So they're being at the actual puppet. So someone is actually hanging them from a string that they have drawn out. So when it comes down to this spirituality, it's more to it than just understanding, hey, oh, I could think different. Hell no. Because even when you think you're thinking different, you're doing just like once this little group was, this smaller group. So just like how you have a 10% religion, they might be a smaller group. So they study more into occults. Just like you have black religion where, yes, it's a big old thing where everybody believes in God, but now it's pinpointing in God being black, and it's pinpointing over here and over here. So it's getting more and more lost. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to be able to veer out, come back out, be outer G, be out, but not in this world, be out. See, able to see the world for what it actually is. Then come back in it. So then you can learn how to teach. Then you can learn how to lead the world. Lead could be leaders. Then you might even realize, hey, I might not even be a damn leader. I might be a person that could help leaders. I might be more of a support system. I might not be a 1. I might be a 2. And a lot of times that is the reason why a lot of y'all have the algorithm, but y'all don't have the knowledge to back it up, the 1, right? And that's why they like y'all to get out there, because the shit that y'all teaching them is only through a little bit of experience that y'all had mixed along with the stuff they made y'all experience. That ain't got actually nothing to do with your spirituality if you didn't learn how to transmute the energy and learning how to do shit on yourself. Like, yo, whoa, why I picked this body? Let me find out about my chakras. Not dive more into your chakras and be like, oh, I'm my moon in Pisces, so this is the way I act like that. Hell nah, ain't nobody on that. That shouldn't give you an excuse to act like this. This should give you something to watch out for your damn self. So when we saying that these planets and these alignments, it's just showing what you care and what you pay attention to. But you still have empty houses where shit you ain't even got no light on over there at all. So you still got to learn how to go into the dark of those areas where you may not have even worked on, right? So at the end of the day, this is where we get down deep to helping us understand why spirituality is even trending. Because everyone wanted it to upgrade. Everybody wants to be smart. Not necessarily, Who want to be dumb? You get what I'm saying? You'll have a majority of the world want to be smart, even if they're dumb, or even if they think they're smarter than what they actually is. So when they get down to this, dog, it get deep. Because this is when we see in religions and seeing things where people is pushing it even harder, and they're pushing it just like these Masons or the people wanted you to push it. But even the right way of exiting out of everybody else, talking down on everybody else's religion. So now you have religions bumping heads and stuff. Where now people trying to shift over, and they're not necessarily learning astrology, but they're learning it from a sense of they're learning it from someone. It's being taught, not someone teaching them to draw points and be like, hey, go connect the dots yourself. Hey, walk in the woods yourself. As in how they used to say back in the Hindu times, somebody finding oneness and stuff like that. So you have a lot of people where they don't understand these religions and breaking down these religions as saying 12 parts of the world. So what they're saying is they let these people play the role of God. And that is what's going on. So even time you get into this and you don't even realize, yo, you may not even do, maybe you shouldn't even be leading something, first of all. And then if you're not an actual man that actually have strong enough thoughts to be able to be transparent, to be able to see where a woman's coming from as well, you need to take your ass back wherever the hell you coming from. You need to fall back. You get what I'm saying? You don't need to be a teacher, and you also don't need to be around people, because you might be inspiring people to take in things the wrong way. So you might be making people kind of forcefully miss their blessings in a way, because the only thing you know how to do is take in shit from your point of view. So the shit that you're taking in is from a dark point of view. You'll never be able to listen to a man, aka that shit is going to be rejected. So in this world of how we'll say it is a girl that can't get pregnant, but the man got a good enough sperm count, or vice versa. The man with sperm count might be fucked up, letting you know that this nigga ain't no man. This nigga don't have the right masculine energy. And what I mean in just saying that's where this shit comes from. So testosterone, all of these things is being broken down to the body. Then you still have the mind. The body is the death. That's why these things, the death fluids. So 1, 2, and 3rd dimension is being represented with death. 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension is being represented with life. 7th, 8th, and 9th dimension is being represented with birth, where we came from first before we developed the mind. We had to come from the 7th, 8th, and 9 and drop to the 1, 2, 3. So when we're looking at the world being divided into 3, the Holy Trinity, all of these type of things, we can see the rhymes, the schemes, the words. Why is the Father, Son, Holy Ghost? Why is it all these 3 breakdowns and seeing how to see the world? So now we know. You can see the world from a very low perspective. You can see the world from a mid perspective, and you can see the world from a high perspective. So when people see the word heaven and stuff, they think of heaven being automatically high, being something that's above. So when God say look into the heavens, so you can understand how the Bible was written. That's why a person picked that. God ain't actually said, but they said, hey, you got to look up. We got to look up to see what's going on. And what they did was put satellites and shit so they could direct the energy of knowing what energy is to come. Okay, God's saying this right now. We better listen. So whether you think it's bad or not, they actually doing it the right way. But when it comes down to it, the reason why they come back down here is because they don't want to extend the body. They're Satanists. So they're coming back on purpose. And that's the reason why even Christians be like, yo, the powers that be or the people that's holding all these wills against us is Satanists. Yes. They're the ones that's trying to control wills, trying to control chakras, trying to control the body. They can't control the spirit, so they have to go for the mind and the body. AKA the mind, they want your mind, soul, and body. But when your soul is something that you're using as a whole, so if they can't take your spirit, they'll take your mind and body, because they already know you falling behind that stuff, not being the spirit. You get what I'm saying? So they already know they could just capture your mind. Boom. Instead of you being able to think for yourself, they'll tell you how to think. So then when you grow older with the shit they taught you, you swear it's your mind. You go to fighting everybody else like it's your shit. You done took their staff, their sword, and now you out there fighting, but you don't realize it has no effect on them. You can't stab them with nothing. You ain't giving them nothing. You fighting your own people. And then you leading your people into something. The blind leading the blind once again. And it'd be so crazy because it'd be like everybody walking around looking for a moth on a tree and don't even realize there's no moth on none of these trees at all. Somebody told you it was to look for a moth on a tree, and it never was. Someone gave you something that you would never be able to see the right way because you don't understand why they even came up with it. So you don't even understand how to be yourself, or even understand how to be spirit. So a lot of these people grab this stuff and they think this is what it is. Oh, God told me to get on the internet with it. Nah, hell nah. You know what I'm saying? Y'all think y'all get and make an income and stuff off of it, but at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that you was meant to be a leader. You could have did some other shit. Shit, you could have pushed other people. You could have reacted to shit. Like, some people reacting. That lets you know. Matter of fact, reaction videos. That lets you know, hey, I might not be able to create this type of content. I might not be able to be the one, but I know how to support. I know how to be the two. I'm going to use my divine feminine energy to support what somebody else got going on. And I'm going to react to whatever is in the video. So now you see somebody responding, reacting like, oh, your moon sign. So sometimes you got to know how to use this stuff. Instead of somebody just getting up there saying, oh, be justified. Go do this, go do that. Now your ass out here fighting all the wrong people. Because you're blind. You running around with the wolves, wondering why in the world everybody's staring at you and you the sheep. Like, you get what I'm saying? But you made yourself amongst wolves because the people that are around you didn't even have to be wolves, but you did that to them due to that you thought you had some type of higher intellect, but it was literally gave to you. So at the end of the day, we got to remember, God already gave you eternal life. So when you understand that, you understand reincarnation. So you understand a lot of these things. So I'm just going on, y'all, into a lot of different spiritual stuff right now. Because at the end of the day, dog, we got to break this shit down. No matter how many times I say it, no matter how many times we put it out, you got to think about the repetition that's going around you right now. How many times somebody done heard the song, or how many times somebody done heard somebody be lost over and over again? How many times you done went to church throughout your life, all them damn Sundays? If you was an atheist, how many times you ran from them goddamn Sundays? And then we're going to do another video too. I'm going to just make the days of the week so y'all will be able to see it. But I did want to draw a piece of paper or some drawing just for the visual learners so they could be able to come back and look like, oh, that's what he's saying. Okay, it's one layer, and this one layer got 1, 2, 3. And that's the bottom of that layer, right? Now there's another layer, 4, 5, 6. Now this bottom layer is independency, masculine energy. Even though it's talking about the woman, and even though it's talking about intergender inside of it, this is talking about what we say, a world inside of a world. Space within a space. Do not get trapped into their magical squares because they'll put you into some other shit. So when you understand magic and all of this type of stuff, this is where it comes from. So not only do you have the one representing all of this, which represents creation, something being created. All of this is the first process, the bottom lower, the lower natures. So this is showing a process of something being created. So then you have a second layer, right? And this second layer, 4, 5, 6, this is talking about the feminine energy, even though the first or the fourth dimension representing thought, represent masculine energy, and the fifth represent feelings and emotions, but really represents the feminine. This is talking about how you do divine feminine and how you do a masculine divine, right? Of how you saying the masculine divine is the first set. The feminine divine is the second set. So once you find your feminine natures, these are the things that you have full access to, the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension. Now once you got both access to the first and the second, now you automatically get the third, automatically give birth, automatically go back to the realm of birth, but this time is different. Now you have the consciousness and you have the subconscious. So now you have the one. So now you have the light and the dark. Now you have the yin and the yang and the polars in between the masculine energy, the masculine feminine, and the feminine masculine, the poles in between. So at the end of the day, this is how they draw out these things. But at the end of the day, man, I'm finna get up out of here. I just had to break it down because I ain't finna get up here and say, oh, this is what happened when spirituality became trending. And I just get up here talking about people and not necessarily breaking down how spirituality actually is, of actually what spirituality is. You didn't need someone coming to direct it, but due to all this stuff is out now, we have no choice but to use what's in the world to fight against the world. So we have to make things we have to file down, what it's called? We have to take bars and iron and put it in a furnace and smelt and weld our own weapons out of this world. You see what I'm saying? So this world will be the thoughts, the feelings. So we have to take other people's thoughts. We have to take other people's feelings and the shit that they're paying attention to and talk about it and grasp it and pull it back over here. So all the real spiritual people out there, they know exactly what I'm talking about. And y'all see it ain't no book. I don't need none of that. It's a God-given talent when you're just able to be spiritual. When you're able just to be yourself from what God tried to give you anyway. You know what I'm saying? Until these people try to take it because they want to play the role of God and want everybody to follow one of them. So now you understand how the puppets and the puppet masters was even made from the beginning. They fell in love with the world. They fell in love with it. What it's called? The angels that got kicked down. See, when you got to think about stuff like that, that's just their terminology, bro. But at the end of the day, y'all already know something that was an angel and then it fell down. So, you know what I'm saying? Something that was a higher angle, but now it's being looked down on. Because, okay, yes, Earth is beautiful, but yes, let's keep it pushing. There's more beautiful things to see. They're like, oh, nah, Earth is beautiful as fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, you know what I'm saying? And then I fell in love with it. Fell in love with that shit, you feel me? Either way, y'all already know how it is. You know, had that one night stand, and that's all it's supposed to be. whether you're a male or a female, then now you done got fucked up and done went through a little situation. That's basically how it is with this spirituality shit versus our mind and versus the collective conscious and versus all of this other stuff that they put like this, where it was just live and die. But nah, you gonna live this way. You gonna die this way. Think about it. You got a birth certificate. You got a death certificate. And you got a ways how you got to live throughout this life in a certain way when you die. You got to have a certain insurance, certain burial. You got to be buried in a certain area. Hey, welcome to the world where they try to control life, a.k.a. the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, and death, the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Because they know they can't fuck with the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And I'm out, man. OG Drip.